Hey everyone, and welcome to Uncharted Realms' second weekly event, or second event of the week. I'm Brent, alongside streamer to be named, sitting in the production booth, excited to bring you Out of the Box Gaming's Armory Blitz event. Out of the Box Gaming is a store local to Thomasville, North Carolina, and they specialize in in-store play and have a marketplace for trading card singles. They are graciously hosting this event, and we are happy to have their event here on stream for you today. So if you're in the area of Thomasville, North Carolina, or you're looking to update the deck, Azalea just took second place in the road to nationals. Just keep that in mind. And this is before the new set. Check out of the box gaming in person or outoftheboxgaming.com. We got a 6-rounder blitz for you guys today. This is round one, and we got Travis and Ash both playing the Dawn Blade Dorinthea. So nice mirror matchup here. A little bit of difference in equipment. Mainly the tunic there for Ash, and Travis likes the courage. Ash wants to bank his resource, while Travis wants to just go ahead and swing twice for free on the Dawn Blade. A little bit different strategies there, but we'll see which one comes out on top. Travis is our turn one player here, so Ash will have the tempo. Or turn two, I'm sorry, I came in a little late. Let me take that back. Ash is our turn one, Travis our tempo. So Ash will not draw up at the end of his turn here. He does have a card in Arsenal though, so that would make sense. So 20 to 20 going into Travis's turn there. He did draw back up to his full 4 at the end of his at the end of the turn 0 there. And Ash wants to play the shunt. He did. Travis's active came from hand, so reprise is active. And so Travis fires off the Iron Song response red. And Ash follows in with a second shunt. So that'll be 2 damage back at Travis. And Ash will completely block. There was a red shunt and a blue shunt for those keeping track. So Ash should have 2 more shunts available in his deck. Remember, it is Blitz, only 2 per on these. And he did block with his bolters, which is not a bad idea, considering that the bolters are used pretty early for a lot of Dorinthea players. It gives them that go again effect for their Dawn Blade to keep the swings coming and to look for the counter. But as Ash is working on his turn here, how are you guys doing? Let me know how it was. How did your road to nationals go this weekend? I know we had a few players here that frequent the server, frequent the games, playing their road to nationals. Very close, just missing top cuts for a few of them. So we wish them the best of luck in their next ones, but it was so close. I was looking forward to them. They almost made it on their own streams for the events they were playing at, but just didn't quite get there. But next time, you know, they're coming and playing against, playing events, getting reps, and they are just getting good. That's the truth. So Ash came in with a naked Dawn Blade. Travis threw the courage in there, try to block for 2, go into reactions. Now this is going to be a sink blow out of Arsenal, so no reprise trigger. So Ash is going to call the block good, and Travis is going to sink a card. So Ash will pass that, and we'll go back into Travis's turn with 4 cards in hand. Nice use of the Arsenal slot there, Travis. So 20 to 18 is the game at the moment. Travis has a 2-life disadvantage, but he's not looking too bad at the moment. He does have a counter on his courage, while Ash has used his his refraction bolters. But an Iron Song Determination is a great place to start. +1 and dominate. That's exactly what the Dawn Blade likes to see, when you can make it get very, very tall. Warrior Valor Red is the next card play there for Travis. That's going to be +3, and if it hits, go again. So this is shaping up to be a great turn. I would not be surprised if we see the courage popped here. Nope. Travis doesn't need to. 7 dominate. 1 card flip, 1 resource, 1 card in hand. Available for Travis. Ash considered if he could, what reactions he might have. I think I would have liked to see the courage pop there maybe. Make Travis think a little bit more about what that reaction might be in hand. But if it is just an Iron Song response, that 1 floating will pay for the Dawn Blade coming in a second time, should this attack hit, and it most likely will. Now Ash is at 20 life, so his skull cap only blocks for 1, but he's got 2 block there on the bracers, and 1 block there on the skull cap, and a defense, a sink below out of Arsenal could get him up to that 7. Not looking like he has it from Arsenal. This card is coming out of the hands. In Classic Constructed, Dory Vitori can get very grindy, very defensive focus. See a lot of them deck themselves out. Okay, in this case, Ash is going to just block 3. No reactions there from Travis. Ash wants to take 4. So Travis has go again. The Iron Song Termination stays around. So coming in for another 4. 4 with Dominate. Ash is going to block 4, using the Skull Cap now that he got less life. Prevent the counter. So 18 to 16. Travis made 4 damage there, and is not going to complain too much about that. So who do you have in this matchup? Do you have Travis? Do you have Ash? Because Dory's winning. I guess not necessarily. We did have a draw in round 1 on Friday's event. So it's potential. It's potential. But not likely. Dory is a very popular hero nowadays. Actually, probably just all the time. This was always a popular hero. So into Ash's turn, Naked Dawnblade to start again. His Tunic is at 3 counters, so he does have a banked resource there. Skullcap and Bracers are both at 1 counter apiece for his equipment, while Travis is still available to block with all of his equipment except the Courage, which is a -1. Well, the Courage can still block, it's just not going to block for as much. Travis looking at 2 cards from the hand, wants to overblock this. Block 6. Reprise is triggered. That is a good block. Their overpower getting sent and the stroke means that Travis might have had a pretty red hand there. Overpowered is a 3-cost attack reaction. Stroke is a 1. Ash here, though, has the money card against an overblock. It's the Glint. He does get a draw card as well, thanks to Reprise being triggered. So he still needs a way to swing the Dawnblade again, either with the Dorinthea effect or have another generic attack action, which we've seen. Nourishing Emptiness is a big one. Yep, and that's exactly what it is. So Nourishing Emptiness, Will It Into Existence, 6 Dominate coming in. If it hits, Ash will gain an extra intellect at the end of his turn. So he'll draw up to 5 total. So, 1 second there, guys. One second here. We want to make sure that everybody's okay. Oh, okay, and there they go. So, we were ready to go explain it because Travis, I don't think, he hasn't seen Nourishing Emptiness before. So, now he definitely wants to block this. He didn't consider it. And so Travis found out what Nourishing Emptiness does there, and is, like all of us, very encouraged to block it and wanting to block it. So Travis is blocking 1 card from the hand right now. So we have 2 left over from the previous Dawn attack, and then we should see another. Should be his bolters here. Would be the most optimal block, because he's going to pop them later, but opting to go with the Skull Cap instead. So that will block for 6 and put counters on both the Bracers and the Skull Cap. So Travis, oh, hello, Ash. It's a good thing you're wearing pants as he fixes this. 1 second there, guys. But Travis did block for the Bracers and the Skull Cap, and I assume Ash will fix that here in a second. So you know what? They make a pill for that, though. But sometimes it's not the easiest thing to keep it up. Sometimes it just falls over and kind of hangs there. But no troubles here. Ash fixed it up, and we move into Travis's turn. 18 to 16. The attrition of equipment's going on pretty The equipment attrition is happening quick, fast, in a hurry. And I agree, Woro. How do you pronounce that name? Woro Nozoro? 2? Yeah, I agree with you. Should have gone the bolters. And he missed out on an extra block there from the Skullcat. Skullcat's pretty money. Gives you 3 life. 3 life in total. If used appropriately, or if you can feather your life underneath. I guess those are the two conditions to be made. Right now, Travis can't block with it again. So he's only saved himself 1 life there. But you do have the potential to get up to 3 life. That's why I love it on my wizard decks in Blitz. Get you 3 extra life to work with. If you also rock like the Iron Rock Gauntlets, you're talking 4 extra life, and all of a sudden the game's 20 to 19 straight up. You know, the Tunic also blocks for 1, so 20 to 20 mathematically on equipment there. So with equipment plus, so not too shabby for those wizard players out there looking to keep himself a little bit more defensive. Now Ash, as I'm yapping, sharpen steel on the Dawnblade. And declares no reactions there from both players. So this will hit for 6. And Ash will pop his bolters. So Travis falls to 12. And Ash will then have the opportunity to come in again with this Dawnblade. Thanks to Dorinthea's effect. Dawnblade is a once per turn action, but Dorinthea's effect allows whenever a weapon you hit, you are able to attack with that weapon an additional time. So hit and run gives this Dawnblade go again. We may see another generic attack action here from Ash. So does need to pay for that. Yep, so 1 floating, 1 in hand, 1 in arsenal. The hit and run does give it +3, so it's another 6 with go again. And Tunic's active. I would love to see another generic attack action here from Ash and just keep this 6 attack going and make it for 3. So represent 18 damage total on this turn would be pretty nasty. Travis blocks 6. All the his equipment zone's looking bare. There was 1 card in hand, and so Ash is going to play Stroke of Foresight, boosting it by +3. He has to draw a card, and then he can, well, not can, but he has to either put 1 from his hand from the top or bottom of his deck. It looked like he left that on top, so he liked what he saw. Pretty much got a free opt, and he kept the 1 card in hand. Now he has nothing floating, so he'll just arsenal and pass it away. So could have been even crazier. But that does require a generic action. Some of our players, if those that watch Oscar play, he likes all the generic attack actions. Yeah, Ash critically there. Got the counter on the Dawnblade, like you said. It's pretty nasty. Goes back into Travis's turn, 16 to 9. And Travis is going to be down to 3 cards in hand, 1 in arsenal. The Warrior's Valor should be in the graveyard there as Travis moves it across. But look at the equipment attrition. Travis, nothing left to block with. But not a bad start. Iron Song Determination. I don't think he can mathematically make 16 on 4 cards. But it's potentially possible, depending on how Ash blocks. The big money combination is Iron Song Determination into Singing Steelblade into Route. But singing Steelblade Supremacy is still a good option. So this is coming in for 6 at the moment. Unless Travis pumps it up again. And he still has his bolters there to give it go again if he wants to. So 6 dominate. Looking at Ash's equipment means he's not going to be able to block it without a defense reaction. He could block 1 with the bracers, 1 with the tunic. And would still need to find 4. So 6 dominate. On hit, draw a card for Travis. It is pretty money. Yeah, Ash still has his Iron Songs available. We've seen Travis now use 2 of his. So he is out, which means some of his later turns are going to be less scary. More of the mind game of what reactions you have versus just guaranteeing the damage through with Dominate. Ash, when he has Dominate, is going to be able to get attacks in because that equipment is all gone. All gone for Travis. In terms of block. Ash is going to risk it. Takes no blocks. So it takes 6. Travis will draw a card, and potentially pop the boots here. I will let him know after the game that he can stack the trigger and wait till he sees the card if he wants. But that Dawn Blade's coming in for 6 again with Dominate +1 or +3. Thanks to Steel Blade Supremacy and Iron Talk Determination going across the whole turn. That's not just one attack like most of the warrior stuff. It is the whole turn. That's what makes them such good warrior cards. They're crazy. Ash is likely not going to block this again. There's, let me see, 2 cards here in hand for Travis. It is possible for Travis to make the 10 with no blocks. It's easier for Travis to make the 10 if Ash actually does block. He's got 2 floating. A Route and an Iron Song would do it if Ash just blocks for 1. Now Ash could throw out his bracers there to, he could throw out his Tunic and his bracers if he wanted to. He's just going to throw out the bracers. So 5 over right now for Travis. Travis can still find, he can find 6 total with the cards he's got in hand. He could do Stroke and a Out for Blood, and that would be +6, and that would have done it. So Ash maybe getting a little risky here, but does throw the gauntlets in. Yeah, the two floating kind of, it is weird. It is weird. Travis definitely could have paid for the bracers, but it makes me think that he may have Route in hand or a Singing Steel Blade that he wants to go looking for stuff.
Yeah.
So, didn't pump with the gauntlets. Yeah, I would be super sus on that attack. But I like Ash not triggering Reprise there. And there's, talking about his Iron Songs. His is coming out right there. Into a Steel Blade. We're seeing the same thing again, except Ash's, though, his going to have a counter. So it's going to be an extra damage. So for 7. These are lethal. Well, not necessarily lethal, but keep in mind, though, Ash does not have his bolters. So he will need another way to give this go again. Remember, he has the Banks Tunic. Travis has nothing he can block with, so he's gonna have to trigger. Well, he doesn't have to trigger Reprise. If Travis wants to just send it, he could. And if he doesn't have a defense reaction there in Arsenal, he could just send this and hope Ash doesn't have, like we mentioned, an Out for Blood. Oh, he did send it. So Stroke is going in +3 up to 10. This is now lethal, so defense reaction required. Sink Below there from Travis from hand. Ash is asking from hand. And he's going to use the Tunic and play a Singing Steel Blade. So Sink Below has yet to resolve yet, so this is all in response. Ash is going to go search his library for an Iron Song and come out. So it's going to be, with the Stroke of Foresight, Iron Song, and Singing, it's going to pump it up by another 7. So we got 14 total into 4 at the moment. Still lethal here. Travis now is going to need to sink and find another defense reaction. So hold on, let me. Yeah, there we go. He's going to resolve his sink. He said Ash has it, but oh, it is dominated. That's correct. So that will do it there. Ash caught all the defense reactions and got in there with the win and earned his badge. Yeah. He got big. He got swole. It's like a gym, right? All right, how many references can I make before it gets too many? So, not too bad there from Ash. He did take a risky line in the previous rounds or previous turn to ensure that this happened, but at the end of the day, he had it, and Travis unfortunately did not, even though he had the possibility there. So that's what you love about the Dory v Dory matchup, the mind games. But oh man, it is what it is. So that'll wrap it up here for round number 1. Hope you're enjoying the content. If you like what you see, hit that like and subscribe button and come hang out in the Discord with us. Discord link is in the description below. And remember, this is Out of the Box Gaming's Armory Blitz event brought to you by Uncharted Realms. We're excited to bring you 5 more rounds of this, plus a prize giveaway at the end. So stay tuned, don't go anywhere. Round 2 will come back at you quick, fast, and in a hurry. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Uncharted Realms' weekly events. I'm Brent, alongside streamer to be named, sitting in the production booth, excited to bring you coverage of Out of the Box Gaming's Armory Blitz. Out of the Box Gaming is a store local to Thomasville, North Carolina, and they specialize in-store play. They got Sealed Saturdays going on, and a marketplace for trading car singles. So, if you want to make that Azalea deck that just made second place, I know I talked a little bit about it in round 1, but it's pretty spicy. Check out of the Box Gaming in person to pick up some cards, or at outoftheboxgaming.com. We got a nice spicy Bernie round for you. James on Kano versus Steven on Ira. You know where my money's going. It's going to Kano. But I know that there's going to be a lot of Ira fans out there. My girlfriend's one of them. Say hi in the chat there, Kat. Let them know you're a fangirl on that Ira. But in all reality, Kano's going to win. So I'm putting my money down on that now. It's the truth of the matter. But I might be sleeping on the couch after this. So, round 2 of 6 here. As Steven starts it off and James is not going to declare any blocks. We're going to see Kadashi action. Kano loves going second. Can cycle cards out of their hand or fire away with some damage on the instep or prior to the instep. Not quite like Magic. Oh, yeah, see, a lot of Ira fans. I know it. I got you there, Adam. I got you. Ira. Not bad though. Ira pumps the second attack by 1. It's pretty money when you talk about like generic attack actions with like Command and Conquer. You give it +1. Pulls it up to 7. E-Strike can get up to 8. Like it's pretty nuts. Or just Kadashi for 2. Steven here without the mask. I think he's more incentivized here to play the needle. Had a small decision about that, or discussion about that, where Steven came in for 2, blocked for 2 from James. But on the needle discussion, if you're running Skullcap, I believe, or if you're running not Skullcap, Mask of Momentum, it's my belief that you should do the Kadashi more often than not. Your opponent's already incentivized to block the second one, so now the needle does come in for 3, but you really just don't want that broken. It's more detrimental to have it broken than not. But if you're not going to run the mask, your opponent might not block your second attack, and you can get in a needle for 3. It's especially powerful against Kano, where a lot of their spells, or some of their spells, block for 2, and they don't run a lot of defense reactions. So that will end it there from Steven's turn. James goes to his. Eyes the start, so he's going to opt 2 and have 2 floating here. He's pitching the eye to pump his next spell by 1. Oh, Goliath Gauntlets too. Yeah. I'm been getting a big fan of Goliath Gauntlets. Been playing a little bit of Prism, tossing around a few deck lists, and giving +2 is pretty good. So Sonic Boom for 4. Steven here is running the control aspects of this Ira. At least against a wizard. Does have the full set of no rune. Didn't want anything in terms of equipment outside of barrier. But that does mean that 2 cards will have to come out of the hand if Steven wants to block it up, which is not necessarily a bad thing. For James here, since he's the tempo player, Steven will not be able to draw those 2 cards up, and that will neuter a little bit of what Steven's able to do on his turn. Steven pitches 3. Oh, he can only block 3. Hold on there. Okay, all right. So he actually pitches 4. He pitches 4. Yeah, so he said 3, but he blocks all 4. I was like, the math didn't add up there, but we got there. So yeah, Steven definitely wants to block the Sonic Boom. You don't want that. James is going to move to Arsenal and draw, but got 2 cards out of the hand and gets a chance to set up. James is looking for his Storers and Forked Lightnings. Voltic Bolts or Aether Spindles in this match. He may or may not be playing Voltic Bolts. If not, he's going to be looking for Scalding Rains. Those are more the spells that come up above 4 and can guarantee some damage and still set you up, because you can fire all of that off on just 2 cards, a 3 pitch plus the spell itself. So Kodachi for 1, no blocks here from James. Kodachi for is the second one. This one's coming in for 2, no blocks here from James again. That falls to 9. Steven, last card in hands. If it's a 0 cost, he could come in, but it looks like he's going to move to Arsenal and draw. James is considering firing off the top. He knows what's on top thanks to the eye. There's the Voltic Bolt. That'll be coming in for 5 straight up, or if he pumps it, he'll get 6. He's going to pump it, get 6. Oh, you have, Cat. Who was the Kano that killed you on turn 2? On your turn 2? What was that Kano's 1.5? I wonder who that was. That was at a skirmish event too, wasn't it? Ooh, I don't know. Maybe I'm overreaching there. I'm assuming it's at a skirmish event. Actually, I do know. So, Steven pitched a Command and Conquer there to block 1, took 5, falls to 15, so a 6-point game so far. Or 6-point spread. James calls that good and wants to move to his turn. So James, can, like I said, can still fire off with just 2 cards out of the hand. It does prevent Steven there from arsenaling a card if he wanted to. So he does not get to keep that Command and Conquer. I think Steven is a little bit more incentivized. Yeah, I agree there. I think Steven's incentivized just to take that one and put it in Arsenal, come in with a spicier attack later. Because he would be threatening 3 damage with the Kodachis and then 6 with the Command and Conquer. So with 1 card in hand to pitch with, he could still come in for a potential lethal attack. So Tome is going to start here for James. He's going to try to draw 2. So he'll draw 2 and then rock off the top after that. Or he could have snapbacks. Those would be an instant seed. But with 3 cards in hand now for James and with 1 in Arsenal, he's likely just going to roll off the top unless he saw double reds. And then it would be a little bit unfortunate. So you like to find 2 blues out of your tome and have that red on top. Oh, did find a red reverberate. You might just cycle out some cards here now with the Crucible. That's exactly what he wants to do. He's cycling out the reverberate here. So James, heads up play here from Kano. For those that don't know, Crucible is a once per turn instant. So he can fire that off, pitch a card for it, put that card to the bottom, and then draw up 2 more from his hand. So he definitely had a handful of reds. That's what that tells me. Or potentially 2 reds and a yellow and didn't want to waste a Sonic Boom or Lessons in Lava. So Steven now didn't have to burn any cards out of the hands. Unfortunately, thanks to that draw there from the tome. So an unfortunate variance miss there for James on our Kano player. So it's almost in bad news bear territory. Steven came in, Kodachi for 1. I did get go again. So Steven's got 3 cards left in hand. That Command and Conquer will look pretty good right about now. Not gonna lie. But Steven, 14 is lethal range for Kano on a stir double pumped Fork Lightning. So keep that in mind. So E-Strike coming in for 7. Gonna put a card to the bottom here. Deciding which one he wants. So this is not directly lethal, but and Steven can't pay for Razor Reflex. So James knows he's not dead here. Oh, for 8, excuse me, you're right, this is lethal. Is Ira a triggered ability? Ooh. Hold on. Should be E-Strike for 8, but I gotta check this. All right, sorry about that, guys. I had to look up the IR ability. Most of the time, there's a change of beneficial triggers. This is well, even Atticus with the mask, you can still miss it. You can still miss your mask momentum trigger, but IRA specifically says in the release notes it is a passive and there's no choice in the power bonus, so it's a guarantee there. So I'm gonna call that as a effect that must be maintained and not a potential miss beneficial trigger effect. So we'll go on for that because you can still miss non-optional triggers. Yeah. So well James did block it and fall to 1, but it's looking bad news bears. But he's starting off here with a Surf Fork Lightning. Yeah, he only took 7. He blocked with his Skull Cap for the second time. For 1. So another float. So this is only coming in for 10, unfortunately, because he couldn't pump it. Yeah, I was right there on the double red hand. Steven's gonna block 4 of it. Take 6, go to 9. I mean, we're still in lethal range. We're still in Lessons in a Chain, Reverberates, Sonic Boom into something off the top. It's still lethal range. Oh, but these Kodachis are going to be able to start it. Steven may have sigils too. Especially with this Ira lookup. Or this Ira list. So, James will draw his 4. He has 1 in Arsenal still to work with. A Surf Fork Lightning combination gets there. Surf Fork Lightning Metacarpus combination gets there if James has a complete second run of it. So Kodachi for 1's a start. Blue Sync Blow, though. This is rough. Now, James can use the Tunic here to block 1. There's no counters on it, as we can see. So can at least force Steven to pay 1 resource. That's what he does. So James, if he has the Stir Fork Lightning and enough resources to pump by Metacarpus in Crucible, he could get up to 14 here, and then Steven would die even with 4 Null Rune. But that requires a lot of pieces. James going to activate his hero. James could still potentially live here. Chain Lightning's not a bad look if there's a Blazing Aether there in the arsenal. Needs to get another spell out, though, if he wants it to do damage. I know Lessons in the Reverberate and a Chain Light, or Reverberate in the Lessons in a Chain Lightning with the Blazing Aether in Arsenal or hands can make up to 19 damage for Kano against an unblocked hand. So James is going to cast a Chain Lightning, holding priority to come in with a Snapback. There it is. So Snapback is able to play because James has played a Chain Lightning. So just a little clarification there. James was making sure it actually works this way, and that's correct. Snapback is able to be played because he's played another spell, and Chain Lightning's ability will check on resolution to see if he's played another spell. So Snapback will resolve first and do 3, and then Chain Lightning will then do 3. So James needed another Wizard non-attack action to get the damage out of Chain Lightning. So there we go. All right, just players looking for a little clarification. So Snapback coming in for 3, Chain Lightning then will come in for 3, and then James will be able to play a card for free. Or not for free, but we'll be able to play it as an instant. So there is still a lethal attack coming in here. Keep that in mind for those watching. So 6. Steven trying to identify, see how much he may take here. So, all right. So a little clarification here. All right, so just a little clarification there for Steven. Was trying to figure out how much damage he was going to take. 2 sets of 3. 2 sets of 3. I don't know if Steven's going to need even erasers. But Steven, yeah, only needs to block 3. Pitches 3. So no damage taken there. Steven is incentivized to block as many as he can. As much damage as he can right now. So Blazing Aether doesn't do extra damage. So second source of damage, so Steven could still pay. Steven's got no more cards. So we'll take 2. Goes to 7. 1 card in hand here for James. And 2 cards in hand. He could get there here if he's looking at a Tome. Or even a Fandal. James could also block to stay alive and chipped away 2 damage. So hold on here. What's James going to do? Is he going to fire off from hand and just send it up to 7 or go into the next turn? I think James should block here. As long as this is not an energy potion, James can do it. He could block. James is going to do it. He's going to fire off. Oh, another Chain Lightning for 3 more. Steven's got no block. I bet you that's a Blazing Aether in Arsenal. I think James snuck this out. Steven took 3. And Blazing Aether for 5. Oh, man. He did it. I told you guys there's still a combination. There's a line. Oh, man. So after all that clarification, all that talk, we ended up getting there. That's why you watch Kano games, people. I'm telling you, this is where it's at. Don't say that. Kano's where it's at, baby. Let's go. That's one for the home team, folks. That's one for the home team. I love it. So, James, to recap there what just happened, in response to the Kodachi coming at him, activated his hero ability and found Chain Lightning on top, which was a crucial part of making that line happen. Without that, he would have needed to have seen a Reverberate, but that could have been prevented. James then was able to cast a Snapback out of hands, thanks to the fact that he played a Wizard non-attack action in the Chain Lightning. Even though it was at an instant, it still counts as a non-attack action. And then Steven only had 4 pitch total, blocks 4 of it, and then Chain Lightning allowed James to go into another Chain Lightning at instant, into another 3 damage, and then Blazing Aether, thanks to the instant speed for 5 and total, and takes the game. Look at that. Steven fell. Ira, like I said, is gone. And so that'll do it here for round number 2. James with the Kano, baby, takes round number 2, and we'll come back at you with Out of the Box Gaming's round number 3, brought to you by Uncharted Realms. Quick, fast, and a hurry after this, so don't go nowhere. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Uncharted Realms' weekly event. It's Sunday. It's Out of the Box Gaming. It's Armory Blitz. You know it. Round 3 is 6 coming at you. Out of the Box Gaming. Out of the Box Gaming's event brought to you by us, Uncharted Realms. Myself, Brent, alongside streamer to be named, sitting in the awesome production booth, excited to just bring you this awesome coverage. We love watching the games. We love being able to host it and have players in here. We'd love to have you. So if you're watching this later, if you're watching this back, go on, hit that like or subscribe button and hit the Discord up and join an event Fridays and Sundays. We fire 2 off a week. And the Sunday is thanks in part to Out of the Box Gaming. A little bit about Out of the Box Gaming. They are store local to Thomasville, North Carolina. And they specialize in in-store play. Sealed Saturdays. I know everybody's looking for some sealed events. So more of that limited style. I think you can even probably convince them to do a draft if you really wanted to. And more critically for a lot of you international fellas, they have a good marketplace for trading card singles. So if you can't find what you like on TCG Player or the new channel Fireball, site when it goes up, check out Out of the Box Gaming. Out of the Box Gaming in person or outoftheboxgaming.com and build up that Azalea deck. So here we go into our round 3. Oscar started us off here. James was the had the option to go second, and we see he didn't block for much, and Oscar tried to one-turn kill again. You see that there. Stream to be named. Yeah, he almost did. He tried. James is going to fall to 8. Only blocked with the Skull Cap. Did block 2 of it. And then Oscar fired off all of these reactions. Now, unfortunately, Oscar didn't have the money pieces. James must have very liked his hands. And he wanted to just fire off on the instep. Try to trade that damage away. So we got a straight up damage race. James found an Aether Spindle. Very good card to find on your turn 0. It'll allow him to opt for the damage dealt. Oscar only has 2 no rune. So... James is coming in here for 5 damage and opting for the damage dealt. Oscar will pitch to block 2 of it with the Singing Steel Blade. It is yellow. We'll take 3. James gets to opt 3. Look at them apples. I think Oscar got the upper hand in that initial trade, but James got a top 3 on the opt. Woo! Oh, Oscar, heads up now. We may be seeing some combination pieces coming in, some combo going on. As James starts with the counter on his Tunic. So this could get spicy here. We could have another crazy game. Yep. Here combo pieces stir. Now we may see a stir in a fort. Stir in a Sonic. But most of the times a stir in a fort. Ooh, stirring the lessons instead. All right, for 6, and James can tutor. 1 card still in hand. Still not bad pieces. Remember, 3 of the cards he opted were on top. He left 1 card in hand. Oscar will block 2 of it, so he'll take 4. Ooh, this could get spicy here. Oscar falls to 13. If James fires off a Blazing Aether here, it will come in for another 4. But James likely will go for the Tome. A Sonic Boom's not a bad option. Chain Lightning. Oh, okay. So James would still have to pay for this. He does have 1 resource floating. So he can... pitch the card out of the hand to activate Kano. Go with the Chain Lightning for 3. Oh, James actually just wants to set this up. Ooh. All right. Spicy pieces. Maybe doesn't have the resources going off the top. So didn't want to function. But still got 4 damage. Gets to Arsenal and put a chosen piece into his hand. Not too shabby. Like I said, the Reverberate Chain Lightning Lessons combination can make 18 damage if it goes unblocked. If it gets blocked by 2, it only finds 14. Yeah, only 14, but that critical there when Oscar's at 13. So Oscar coming in, Dawnblade for 3. Courage allows this weapon attack to come in for free. Costs 1 less to activate. James considering. Oscar has 3 cards in hand. Can pump this up enough to kill with just the 3, even through... no blocks here. But I will likely see James throw the Skull Cap in there. No blocks, though. Oscar, no reactions. We'll see the Refraction Boulders go, then. James falls to 5. Bolters, and then Dawnblade in for another 3. Ooh, spicy look there from Oscar. James throws the Skull Cap. I like to have seen James throw the Tunic in there as well. Because this is still in lethal range for 1 pump up. And that's exactly what Oscar does with an Out for Blood. Coming in for 6. Now, so 1 was a block. So now James is going to have to fire off. So this is right now with the lethal attack here against James, unless he has a defense reaction. But he's going to activate his hero. There's the eye. I would have loved to see that Tunic go in there to prevent this from being lethal. Oscar, 1 card in hand. Could be a yellow here. Oscar, he can only block up to 2. So James can come in here. He can get lethal here. but he did rock off the top. We saw him rock off the top in rounds number 2 there for lethal. This time doesn't quite have all the pieces. He still has a chain lightning there in hand, so he could make it. That's for sure, especially with the 3 cards he has available. One of them's chain. If one of them's chain, the other 2 are blue, and there's another blazing aether there in arsenal, James will take it. Just guaranteed, but the fact that he's still mathing this out means that he may have to come out here with a little bit of a wild line. So James has to make 15 if he thinks Oscar has a yellow in hand, or a yellow plus in hand, or 16 if he thinks Oscar has a sigil. And that's very possible to be made for the wizard. And we know he put a chain lightning in his hand, so that makes me think he has a blazing aether there in the arsenal. So aether spindle coming at Oscar for 4, plus 1, 5 with the crucible. So this is guaranteed to hit for at least 3. And we'll finally see what Oscar has in hand. This is where I would love to have seen the tunic thrown in there to block. That means James wouldn't have died, or wouldn't die if he doesn't get it. So it's a red. So Oscar takes 4, down to 9. Remember, James still has chain lightning and his boots. Depending on what that card is in the arsenal. If it's a blazing aether, James has this. Also, if James can find a blazing aether on top, he might be able to get it there too. But it would again require what's in arsenal. He would have to pitch for the boots, pitch for the Kano. And 3 on top. I think James thinks he has it. We're gonna see. Especially if there's a sonic boom there in the arsenal, we're in. Pitches the chain. Yeah, 1 floating now, pops his boots. Ooh, cast a chain. But now there's down to 6. Now is this the blazing aether? Oh, he had it. Oh, get this out of here. Oh my god, he does it twice. The double chain lightning and the blazing aether. He had the tutor for it, but he got it. Oh man. Woo. James saying he almost misplayed, and it was close. They did almost. But he got there. Holy smokes. Gotta love it. So James, in another quick round, takes it. We're going to be able to keep watching Kano drive his way forward through our event today. So that puts us halfway there. We're 3 out of 6. And that will wrap it up for us here. Out of the Box Gaming's Armory Blitz event, brought to you by Uncharted Rounds, myself, and Stream to be named. Bringing you 3 more rounds of some crazy, hopefully Kano action. So stay tuned, don't go anywhere. We'll come back at you shortly. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Uncharted Realms' weekly events. I'm Brent alongside Streamer to be named, and we're excited as always to bring you coverage of Out of the Box Gaming's Armory Blitz. It's Armory, it's Blitz, and it's still a 6-rounder. And speaking of rounds, we're in 4 out of 6. So we hit our halfway point here and slash at the end of the last round. So we're almost there. It's moving quick. It's getting spicy. So if you got a couple hours to play some games, we got an event for you. So hey, come check it out. But before you check us out, check out of the Box Gaming. They're a store local to Thomasville, North Carolina. If you want to do some more limited style events as well, they're a big fan of the sealed and potentially draft. But they also have a marketplace for trading card singles. We were just talking in the server about Azalea and some of the other matches. Or if you're looking to build some stuff up for the new Tales release, you can check out of the Box Gaming in person at outoftheboxgaming.com and pick up those pieces that you need, especially after the release here at the end of the month. So in this round here, we got Ira v. Ira, a nice little mirror match for us. Johnny is going to be your top player, and Liko, hailing from Australia, out of the bottom. So Johnny is our turn 1. Going to start So we got a push the point for 7, and Liko throws down 7 block. So Johnny closes it up, arsenals a card, and passes his turn. Oh, excuse me, doesn't arsenal card. Wants to keep it in hand. Liko will sigil at the end of his turn, go up to 22. So even though he took first blood, or Johnny did, Liko is going to start his turn, tempo turn, with the health advantage. This could be a little bit of a longer match, because if these players play like that, it's either going to be extremely explosive or it's going to be a very grindy, nitty-gritty, Kadachi kind of match. Liko getting the 3 health pump up to his overall health total is might come out on top. So, Liko also is one of the Ira players that plays the Nourishing Emptiness, but he did block on the previous turn, so it's just going to be 7 straight up. He may pop his Snapdragon Scalers. No, he can't pop his Snapdragon Scalers here. This will just be a 7 attack, and Liko will arsenal and pass his turn after that. So Johnny falls to 16. And Liko cleans it all up. So how are you guys doing? Who's got this round? Ira v. Ira, obviously, but who do you got? You got the turn 1 player, or do you have the tempo player? Tempo player right now is looking pretty strong. I think I'm going to have to vote for Liko in this one. For those keeping track of my record, I'm doing pretty hot. Because I always vote for Kano today. So I'm looking pretty good. But I want everybody to be successful. Mass here. I don't expect mass to be triggered. But we'll see. The first player to start triggering some of these masks might come out on top. Liko falls to 21. Johnny just wants to command and conquer for 7. Look at that. I love it with the Ira plus ability. Talked about that a little bit earlier with the +1 on the generic attack actions. Liko loves the card he has in Arsenal and is going to block 9. Ooh, spicy. I wonder if that's an E strike there, and he can throw 1 card from his hand down, or just a 0 cost. And Liko can get in there. Oh, it could be a 1, and Liko could still get in there with Kadachi card and Arsenal. Tunics are both at 2 now. Yep, Kadachi to start. No cards in hand for Liko, but he has 2 resources floating. Johnny has the full grip at the moment. Falls to 15. Liko 6 points to the positive as he comes in with the Kadachi for 2, paying 1 for it. Johnny doesn't like it, but he's playing Ira as well, so you'd think he'd be more friendly with that one. Yeah, so Johnny no blocks there, so Liko could potentially get a mask trigger here. Johnny falls to 13. Liko is going to fire it out of Arsenal. So nice. Got a 3-card block and still threatening for 8 damage this turn. Not too shabby. Plus a potential mask trigger here. Ooh. That's spicy. Johnny considering. Mask trigger could allow Liko to put something in Arsenal or fire off another sigil or plus. Johnny doesn't want to defend, wants to go to reactions. Sink below. 4 of its blocks. Johnny will take 1. And Liko will draw off the mask. So, instantly to the Arsenal zone, and Liko will pass the turn. That's snapped in there. We see the Snapdragon Scalers on Liko's side, but he's snapping harder than that. No dragons necessary. So, Johnny coming in with Kadachi. 1 resource floating. It was a yellow. Liko will take 1. You can see a lot of chip away. So we're going in the grindy matchup here. But push the point is going to try to push the issue with his damage. 7 damage coming in for Liko. Would need 3 cards out of the hand if he wants to block with all out of the hand. He did already use his gauntlets to block. Excuse me, only needs 2 cards out of the hand because he's got a sink below. So gets 7 block total. We'll opt not to use it. But Liko's Razor Reset flexing to pump this attack up to 10 and give it go again if it hits. Liko definitely would want to have 3 more on the block here. Prevent this, but such is not the case. Liko's has no more blocks, no more reactions he wants to fire off. Takes 3, goes to 17. This does have go again. But Johnny's just going to arsenal and pass, opting not to come in with another Kodachi. So, want to keep that card. I like it. It would only been 1 damage. Get to keep the card in there and have that extra resource for later. So, Liko's going to start with his Kodachis again. 2 resources floating. Kodachi for 1. Going into Liko's turn with only 2 cards in hand, 1 in the arsenal, but his Tunic is at 3 counters. Johnny fired off his Tunic on the last turn. So, Kodachi for 2. As Johnny opted not to block the first one, fall to 11. Johnny's considering what he wants to do. I think I saw a glimpse of a sigil in hand there for Johnny. So Liko's now going to activate the Tunic. Doing it the old school style way. Doesn't have to necessarily do it that way anymore, but is going to go up to 2 resources there. And then fire off, I imagine a command... Oh, oh, God. It's for 7, flying kick. Thank you. Whew. I had a little brain fart there at the moment. I heard it. I was trying to say it, and I couldn't just get the words out. But flying kick for 7. It is played at chain link 3 or higher, so it gets +2. This will also trigger mask. Something to consider there. Johnny, I know I saw that glimpse of that sigil. It's pretty money in other matchups, but in this matchup, it kind of doesn't hit as well. So Johnny, though, will put down the Command and Conquer in front and flick black for the 4 extra he needs, and so 7 there. And then Johnny had 2 sigils in hand, goes back up to 6 or 15. So 15 to 17, Johnny's going in his hand with 1 card, so just throws a counter on the Tunic and passes away. So Liko has the tempo advantage, but Johnny got himself 6 life. Who really came out on top there? That remains to be seen, but Liko is still 2 to the positive in terms of health. 17 to 15, gets to go to his turn with 4 cards in hand, full grip. No Tunic banked resource, though. Keep that in mind. So Kodachi for 1. No surprise there, right? No block out of Johnny. No reactions from Liko at the moment. No, he's considering doing something. I think you hold that, though. Maybe indicative here that he has a Razor's Reflex. Liko, though, considering what he wants to do for the rest of his turn. I'd be a big fan of an E-Strike here for 8 with the Snapdragons to give it a go again. But instead, Soul Beat strikes for 5. Not too shabby. If it hits, go again. So Johnny's going to throw his mask in front. So no more mask available here for Johnny. And then goes to reactions. Liko's going to go ahead and give it Razor's Reflex before any reactions come out. Up to 7. 2 is the block. So if Johnny has just 1 sink below or flick flack, it won't cover it. Should be up to 8. Yeah, excuse me. Let me correct that. All right, so 8 coming in. Getting told 7, but it's 8. Got that fixed away, but there you go, Brandon. It's good to see you today. How you been? So Johnny actually had double defense reaction to prevent this up. It does have go again, though. So Liko could still fire off if he wanted to, but opts not to. So Arsenal and draws. Oh, no, excuse me. It has to hit to gain go again. Both of it. So excuse me on that one. Correction. So into Johnny's turn. 2 cards in hand, 1 card in arsenal. Snatches the start. It's for 4. Now Johnny no longer has his mask, but Liko definitely doesn't want this to happen because Johnny is sitting on bare resources. We may see Liko throw his own mask in front of this, but a sink below is easy enough to get out on top. Now remember, Snatch doesn't have go again. So Johnny would have to pop the Snapdragon Scalers for it. Ooh, throws a Tunic in front of there. That's pretty crazy in a grindy matchup. Liko making the decision, though, to keep his mask available. So, critical decision. Now, Johnny has to decide whether he wants to pop his Snapdragon here. I almost would have even considered letting Johnny pop his equipment and give him the card, which is one card out of the hand, to see if you couldn't bait out some equipment usage that may or may not snowball into a better turn. I don't know. What would you have done there? Would you have blocked at all? Or not? Well, Snapdragon Scale is going to fire off anyways. Okay. So, no damage taken. Go again. E-Strike is the pitch to come in with a life for a life. So, Johnny will gain a life. Or no, excuse me. He has to go again. If he hits, he'll gain a life. Alright, well this time if Liko wants to put one card and the mask, he could. Yeah, nice. That's good to hear. That's a good day there, Brandon. Liko takes the 5, falls to 12, keeping 3 cards in his hand and 1 in the arsenal. And that will end it there for Johnny. So I'm doing great as well. It's a beautiful day out here on a nice Sunday afternoon. And the holiday weekend for us Americans. So it's looking pretty decent. Got the Monday off and not too shabby in my book. What's also not too shabby is Kadachi. 3 damage total, no block on the first one, a reaction on the second one, and so we have 14 to 12 still. Liko considering potentially reaction or moving into his next attack. It's a Pounding Gale for 5. Out of the arsenal, 2 cards still in hand there. Johnny blocking for 5, thanks to the Flick Flag. Johnny liking this Time Step Potion there in Liko's pitch. If you guys take a look at that. Mainly you see Time Step Potions on Classic Constructed lately in the sideboard for the Prism matchups. But, you know what? I think it provides a lot of options anyways. You could potentially keep your Snapdragon Scalers for another turn if you get a chance to set it up. So definitely Liko came in with the more grindy strategy in mind. And that's what we got for ourselves today, at least in this round. So round number 4. Don't forget, there's 2 more rounds coming up after this. Kadachi for 1, so start here for Johnny. No block there from Liko. So Johnny's now rocking the health advantage pretty hard. I say that in the Ira matchup specifically because it's going to be a lot of chips for 1 and 2. So even 3 life is pretty big, but it's not 3 life, it's 5. So Pounding Gale coming in here for 5 for Johnny. Not too bad. Had a little rinse repeat of the last turn of Liko's. Could potentially go up to 6 thanks to the bracers, but not necessary because there's no mask. So Johnny wouldn't get anything for it unless he wants to push a damage, which he'll likely hold. Liko going in the tank. It seems like he's considering taking all 5. He'd fall down to 4, and that leaves him super susceptible to Razor's Reflex. Which means he would have to respect it every turn. So Johnny wants to keep his health total high here. It's going to be a long one, though, folks. It's going to get pretty crazy here at the end. Liko considering how many cards he wants to come out of hand with. If he... No blocks there from Liko. Wants to keep it. He's got a spicy attack, I guess. 2 cards out of hand could have blocked all of it. So that leaves Liko very susceptible to a Razor's Reflex. Remember, Razor's Reflex gives a target weapon +3. And so that could potentially be lethal every turn. So Liko, though, needs a huge hand here. Needs to pull all the cards out of Johnny's hand. Just about. Or at least 3 of them to avoid getting Razors. So no blocks there from Liko. Or from Johnny. Johnny falls to 13. Remember, Liko's mask is still active here, though. So it was very possible for him to come in. And get some draw effects. But he does still have 2 block up. Something to keep in mind. Liko, considering this attack, was going to do Kodachi, but he strikes for 8. Now, he can give it Kogan with the Snapdragons too. He has 2 resources floating, and I imagine that's what he's going to do. That's a great way to equalize the health totals here. E-Strike is also Razor Reflexible. Keep that in mind. So Johnny calls it disgusting. I agree. It's pretty nasty. Razor Reflex check here. 1 reflex in the bin. Liko says he's played 1 so far. Johnny didn't want to get doubled Razor Reflex here and die. I agree. That'd be a really bad way to go. I agree with that one. I feel real sad after that. I might just take my cards and go home. I mean, they're already at home, to be fair, our players. Playing remote over the webcam. But I think I might have to pack up and go to a different room and cry myself. Comfort myself by crying in the corner. So Johnny took 2, or at least representing 2 at the moment. And that will be it. Snapdragon Scalers just pops as the attack reaction. Give the E-Strike go again, as expected. 2 resources floating here for Liko. Trying to figure out what he was doing. There he goes. He figured it out immediately. Flying kick for 7 at Arsenal. If this hits, Liko will draw a card. It does not have go again, though. Keep that in mind. Johnny says he wants to have a turn, but Liko's also at 4. So he's going to go no blocks. Johnny will take 7. Go to 4. It's 4 apiece. Liko does draw here off the mask, but doesn't get it. Miss beneficial trigger, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter if that card goes in the arsenal. Anyways, he would just keep it in hand normally. So, yeah, could have got maybe a springboard into the arsenal, which could change it. Johnny saying it is the Razor Reflex. He may have been telling him. Liko does have to respect it. Mask is going to be the block on the first one. Coming in for 2 here. Exude is the block for 3. And life for 4. So no Razor Reflex there. But this is a lethal attack. So Johnny gets the upper hand, at least in this one. It does not have go again, but that's not necessary. So now we're going to be into the almost 2 cards a turn for both of our Ira players. The mask is now gone there for Liko. But he's got 2 cards to work with and 1 in arsenal. So objectively a better sequence of... has the potential for a better sequence of attacks here. Johnny, though, the life for life hits, so he goes up to 5. Johnny blocks with the tunic. He's not going to get those counters again. And we actually may see... actually, he had 3 counters on it. But Johnny facing down a Command and Conquer for 7. No resources floating there. Liko with a card in arsenal. It could be a defense reaction. It really could. He didn't fire it off, though, on the life for life, so... makes me think it's not a springboard, but maybe that's his long con. Johnny goes down to 1, but keeps 3 cards in hand, and that could be enough depending on what Liko has. So we'll see. Johnny, what do you got? Fired off away. Does he have the Razor's Reflex, and does Liko care about it? At some point, you got to stop overblocking and just send it. Make your opponent have it early. Liko says he risks for the biscuit. Takes the 1, so that almost guarantees it. Potentially Johnny would just let it happen. Have Razor Reflex here as well. Now this is the lethal attack for 2. Little ninja talk. This is not a Katsu game, fellas. Keep it on the Iras. But, anyways. Johnny blocks 3. Last attack is going to be Torn at Tempo for 5. And as Johnny points out, it's going to be a fancy foil. If it hits against go again, though, so Liko might throw 2 cards out here. Well, it's going to have to, unless he has a defense reaction. Heavily considering it. It seems like Johnny has the tempo advantage at the moment. Liko wasn't able to use all of his cards in the last round. Blocks for 3, wants to take 2. Liko is at 2. So maybe we need to see another card out of the hand here, actually. No, has a sigil for 3. All right. So Liko goes up, gains 3, goes up to 5, and then takes 2, goes back down to 3. Whew. I was worried for a second. But Liko, 1 card in hand, 1 card in arsenal. But that was not a defense reaction put in there. I think that is 100% for sure now. So Liko, only 1 card in hand to work with. So Johnny definitely has the tempo advantage, and he will likely close this out. But that's a good start here from Liko. Exude for 4. Does Johnny... Okay. Into reactions. He passes on defense. That's it. Johnny's dead. All right, there we go. Just had to clarify that. I think we're going to walk back to the defense reaction, or the defense step. And figure it out from there. Yeah, so Liko just wanted a defend reaction to that. But we'll get to go through for hand. We like to play a little bit more casual competitive. Nothing on the line for the winners. It's all random prizes here. Which makes it nice and easy. Come in with your spicy decks and just have fun. So, 1 card in hand there for Liko. If it's a blue, he could still win this. Johnny's sitting at 1, so definitely needs 2 cards out of the hand, but blue would only make it up to 6. So, 2 cards, still a card out of the hand is going to probably be the option here for Johnny. Defends 9 though. I mean, 6 defense into 6 is still decent, but Johnny overblocks it, and that might be what Liko needs to regain tempo in this game. Because theoretically, there Johnny can still block for 6 and stay alive, guaranteed. And then Johnny and Liko wouldn't have had any other actions, but alas, we see a 9. I think Johnny may have thought that pump up pluses it by 3. He did say 2, but his brain might have registered 3 is what I'm thinking. So he overblocked it by 9. So we go into Johnny's turn. 1 card to pitch. Kadachi. Now, to be fair, we do know what's in Arsenal, but if we didn't know it in Arsenal, this could be a pretty deadly turn. Sink below. Liko, is he going to opt to sink? So we do know that's going to be the last attack here for Johnny. But he does have some shields, so keep that in mind. Liko, though, we'll see what that Arsenal card is now. Maybe it's his own shields. So it starts for the Kadashis. These are all lethal. Only 2 cards to work with in hand, but has that Arsenal. Crane dances the block. Liko's going to make him have the Razor's Reflex. Oh, and he did. But flick flack. Oh, 1 resource floating. Kadachi coming in for 2. Rising Knee thrusts to the block. Last card here in Liko's hands. Is it a 0 cost to get out there? He makes super valuable money if this is a 0. It's not, though. Has to Arsenal and pass away. So fatigue is getting on us. How close are we on the end of the round here? 4 minutes, guys. 4 minutes, fellas. Oh boy, we may see an Ira v Ira draw here at the top table. How spicy would that be? Be a lot of happy, probably a lot of happy Ira haters out there. Johnny coming in for 1. Liko takes it. Now lethal attack here for Liko. Well force response from lethal attack here from Johnny. Will force response from Liko. Flick Flack is the play, so his next one's going to be pumped up, as long as he defends with the combo. Gust Wave for 5. That does it. All right. Liko, he's ripping tempo right back into this game. 2 cards to work with in hand, and the card in arsenal. We know it's not a 0-cost attack. So he starts with a Kadashi. Sobi was the pitch, 2 floating. Every single attack here from Johnny's lethal. His Razor reflexes are all gone now, though. Keep that in mind. Ooh, I think that's all of Johnny's Razor's reflexes now, too. I could be wrong. I could stand corrected, but I believe we saw Johnny fire it off earlier. Ooh. So, no defense there. Reactions for Johnny on the second one. So, another Flick Flack. That is going to help Johnny, though, potentially stay alive on the next attack. Fluster Fist for 2. So, I wonder what Liko has there in arsenal. It might be a defense reaction. Whelming Gust Wave is the block. It should be for 5. He said 3, but it does have a... does have combo. Flick Flack would have upped it up. So Liko draws up. Has 5 cards left in his deck, though. We are getting into the attrition game, boys. It's there. 1-2. I told you it'd be a grinding matchup. I warned you. And here we are at the wire. So a pitch. It's just gonna be Kadachi. Liko can use 2 cards to block with and go back into his turn. 2 cards. Actually, no. Excuse me. He only has to block 1 of it. Excuse me. So 1-1. Liko's going to have 3 cards and a card in arsenal to go. Blue Flick Flack for 2 is the block. All right, so Liko, what you got? This looks like it might be your finisher here. Now, hold on, fellas. If not, go ahead and buckle back in. But I get excited when a ninja gets 3 cards in hand. There's that time snap we saw earlier. There's for 1. Liko may be out of reliable attacks, though. Because we are into the pitch. We've been in the pitch sections for a while. But every attack requires a response here from Johnny. Even if they're tiny. We still have yet to see that card out of arsenal here from Liko. I hope he hasn't forgotten about it. Torn Tempo for 5. That's going to get 2 cards. And Liko, he will just pass. Oh boy, couldn't quite get it in there, but this is it. Johnny's out of cards. Liko's got 4 to start his turn. I think he's done it. There's not going to be much Johnny can do here. As long as Liko doesn't just straight up punt. Liko, Kadachi for 1. Soul Bead was the pitch. There's the first card from Johnny. 3 left in total. Not just in the hand, in total. Kadashi for 2. 2 cards left for Johnny. Liko needs an attack. Oh, E-Strike for 7 is going to do it. Oh, man. He still had it. Go to reactions. Blocks 2 with Flick Flack, and that should do it. It says it's okay. It passes it up. All right. Johnny slow rolling the death, but Liko gets it back there with a E-Strike that came back around. So, oh boy. What an ending there, fellas. And that will do it here in round number 4. It was a long one. We just got the time too. So, wow. Liko takes it. Squeaks in there with the E-Strike, and that wraps up here for round 4. That means because we just hit time, round 5's coming at you pretty quick. So don't go anywhere, and we'll probably get fired off almost right away. So stay tuned, guys. Hey everyone, sorry about that. Welcome back to Uncharted Realms' weekly event. Myself, Brent, alongside streamer to be named in the awesome production studio, is excited to bring you Out of the Box Gaming's Armory Blitz round number 5. 5 out of 6 here. We see James yet again on the Kano and Liko, also on the IRS. We're getting a lot of good matchups today. So far, haven't seen the same matchup twice, I believe. Out of 5 rounds, so pretty spicy, considering we got a lot of Kano and a lot of Dorinthea fans here, and now a lot of Ira. So, you know, keep that in mind when you're playing. Set up for the meta. But this is Out of the Box Gaming's Armory Blitz, brought to you here by us, Uncharted Realms. Out of the Box Gaming is a store local to Thomasville, North Carolina. They specialize in store play and trading card singles. So if you're in the market to build up that new Azalea deck or another Road to Nationals top place finisher that you like, check out Out of the Box Gaming in person or at outoftheboxgaming.com, and they'll get what you need to you. So we went in and we saw Liko as our turn 1 player. James fell down to 8. Oh, spicy. Already. Liko opting for the needle. Oh no, this is the second time we've seen Ira v Kano. Excuse me. I was incorrect on the individual matchups. Because in the previous rounds, our Ira player opted Kadachi, while Liko goes Kadachi Needle. But James opting to take all of the damage, liked what he had in his hand. And he is facing off against 3 Null Rune. So James here, top 1, bottom 1, off of a Whispered Kano. Aether Spin knows the banish. James wants to set up his next hand, his turn 1 hand. So James gonna Aether Spindle for 5 against the opt 5. Liko's gonna block 1 that he had floating. He had no more cards in hand to take 4. So James gets to opt 4. Not bad. Gets to stack up his draw and move into his turn 1. James though sitting half the life total of his opponent. We do know Liko plays sigils, so keep that in mind if you see any cards hidden around or waiting. Liko may potentially be able to get +6 to his life total. So, oh, 4 on top. Did you see that? Oh my gosh. All right, this could get spicy again. Checking the order though, because one of those isn't going to make it to hand. A little bit of mix up now for James. Restacking how he wants. The card he puts on bottom, the one closest to the left. Our left, as we're looking at it, his right, is going to be the card that stays on top of the deck after James draws 3 here. So that's how he wants it. Found the card he liked on top. Oh, hold on. And this is in response to the flying kick. James takes the 7, falls to 1. It's pretty spicy turn 1. Pretty spicy turn 1. Yeah. Oh boy. That means Kadachis are now lethal. So James is going to try to 2-shot this. It's very possible to do. I know some people who have some straight trauma to getting to playing Ira and getting 2-shot. One of those people might or might not be sitting in the other room. So James starts off with the Chain Lightning, or starts off with the Kano activation, finding the Chain Lightning he left on top. So he knew that was there. It was not blind. And then the other 3 cards in his hands, or the other 2 cards in his hand, were chosen to be there. One of those potentially was not, depending on whether or not that Whisper he pitched was the one he left in hand. So James, not considering how he wants to sequence this, he is facing off against 3 Null Rune. So Reverberates, Lessons on Lava can be guaranteed with just 1 pump on the Crucible. Won't have to use Metacarpus nodes if he doesn't need to. Could save those for firing off on his opponent's turn. So activating Hero. This one's blind. Finds another chain lightning. Okay. Very interesting here indeed, as James says. Maybe not exactly the card he wanted to see, but actually, so Kano allows you to do it at instant speed. He could fire off a chain lightning, fire off a second chain lightning, and they would both resolve, dealing 3 damage. So, James pitches for 3. He's going to cast chain lightning. He's going to pump his spell, so he has 2 floating. So, double cast chain lightning. He wants a 3 for both. So, this is allowed to happen thanks to the fact that Kano allows him to play these cards throughout the turn at instant speed. The same interaction here with the snapback, but James will be able to play a card out of hands here at instant speed as well, but he has no resources floating. So first one coming in is at 3. Second one is going to be at 4. So Liko, now considering how he wants to block, can block up to 3 per source, so he could block 6 of the 7 total. Pitches 3. So, not really a too big concern, but the first one was for 3. Liko thought it was for 4. But it still evens out. It's still 7 total. Nothing wild here. Liko deciding how he wants to block. There's a lot of cards he's looking at getting rid of. My money's on Kano. Who do you got in this matchup? I know I had some Ira lovers earlier. Are you an Ira lover? Let me know in chat. Kano's where it's at, though. Kano best. I'm nuts. So Liko takes 4 total. So 12-1. James is not going to fire off that card from hands. Could have been a Blazing Aether for 4, but doesn't want to. That's probably the card I would imagine that got stuck. But also the blind activation for Kano, just on the chain lightning, is a little rough on seeing both of them. Now, one was placed there specifically by James. And now we have Exude Confidence for 4. That's a great start there from Liko. James has to respond to the cast here. And so this is going to end the game. Liko, not playing around this time. He's not going to time. He's sending this off right away. And James is going to look it up. James needs to look up the card. Basically, he needs to fire it off. He responded to the cast. If Exude Confidence becomes a layer on the chain and its ability gets active, James will not be able to play or activate instances on this combat chain. So he would not be able to activate his Kano or his Storm Striders, which effectively locks him out of playing any cards. James considering blocking. James thought no go again, but Liko lets him know about the Snapdragons. So this may be the beginning of the end for our Kano player, for our hero. The hometown hero is... So it looks like James' eye is going to block this. I don't think he can make the 12, especially not with 2 cards still in Liko's hand. With 2 blues in hand, Liko is effectively sitting at 18 life, which is not possible for James to hit. Now, if those are 2 reds, James could easily make the 12 he needed, or the technical 14 total. It looks like James is considering potentially just firing off. It's hard to tell with 2 cards in hand. So James is going to send it. Energy potion from the hand. So boots are the popped, not from James. Trying to go all in. Now, to be fair, though, if he can pull both of these cards out of Lico's hands and still block this Exude Confidence with 2 cards, or actually with his Skullcap plus 1 card, or his 1 card plus his Tunic, James could stay alive and move on to the next turn. But he would have to pull both cards here out of hand from Lico, and Lico would have to have no energy floating. Otherwise, Lico can just come in with another attack on the needle. After a Snapdragon Scalers go again on the Exude Confidence. So he's responding to the cast of Exude Confidence. There, Adam. So the question was, how can he do Striders? He's doing it before Exude Confidence's ability is active. Okay, so James here did the tome, didn't want to fire off, is going to block for 10. A lot of overblock. Gives it go again. And that should mean that Lico has it. Pounding Gale for 5. And that will do it. Okay. So, James wanted to protect from a potential Razor, it looks like. So overblocked it, and then Lico had enough to come in and kill him off based on what James had in hand. James saying he drew 2 reds off the tome and wasn't able to continue firing Kano, so opted to try to block it. Could have short blocked it with just 2 cards, go to 6, and then just hope his opponent doesn't have the Razors. But that'll do it there. Lico takes it. It was a quick one, that's for sure. Not like the other one, but still quick like the usual Kano matches. So Lico is our round 5 winner. We got 1 left and a prize giveaway, guys. So don't go anywhere, and we'll come back at you shortly with the final round of today's event. So I hope you're still doing well. If you're liking it, hit that like and subscribe button, and we will catch you guys shortly.
All right, everybody. How's it going? About to do the prize randomization for today's event. We have, what do you call it? Here we go.
31.
Yeah, 31. So then scroll through the names real quick. These are the standings after round 5. So we're going to roll the dice to see how many times we randomize the list, then randomize the list that many times. The top 8 will get to choose their prize in order. So good luck to everybody. All right.
Oh my gosh.
Times.
Woo!
Share this over into the chat.
I'll send it. I guess if you didn't see your name on the list, go ahead and say something.
Oh, they're all
but
there. Yeah. But,
I don't hear anybody saying anything. So
11 times. Here we go.
Oh my gosh, John, you're gonna get a little
1,
cramp over there.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Oh, that doesn't.
11.
Yeah, Travis,
Oh, no, it doesn't show if I go that far down
you got it.
or whatever.
You gotta get that timestamp. Yeah.
I gotta get it to where I can get the whole screen on there. All right. So these are the 8. And
Travis gets the cold foil in 6 packs.
yeah.
Travis Ryan's. The Lexies. Look at that. Not bad. Good stuff, guys.
And yeah, I'll go ahead and post this up, and we'll get round 6 underway. Good.
All right, see you guys for round number 6. Hey everyone, and welcome to Uncharted Realms' weekly event. I'm Brent, alongside Should Be Renamed, and we're excited to bring you Out of the Box Gaming's Armory Blitz. Or maybe we aren't. Maybe we are. There we go. Okay, now it's up there. Yeah, no, back on that. Uncharted Realms, us, me, Brent, alongside Should Be Renamed. Out of the Box Gaming's Armory Blitz event. This coming at you in round number 6. Out of the Box Gaming is a store local to Thomasville, North Carolina, and they have a awesome marketplace for trading card singles. So, you know Tails is coming up. You know you're going to need some pieces. Out of the Box Gaming is a place to go to get those pieces, especially looking for the fancy stuff. Out of the Box Gaming, Out of the Box Gaming in person, or outoftheboxgaming.com. Remember that Zillia just got second place too. I know you guys want these Ranger decks. Let's be real. That's some real talk there. But back into the gameplay, Daniel on Dorinthea, the double D's, actually the triple D's, because his last name is D as well, against Liko on the Ira. We've seen Liko for a couple matches. It's Daniel's first time up here, so welcome in, Daniel. And we'll start with Liko as our turn 1 player. Daniel rocking the classic Dorinthea setup, skullcap, racers, courage, boots. Nothing crazy there. And the same thing with Liko with the tunic, Snapdragon scalers, the gauntlets, and the mask of momentum. So Daniel blocking 6, opting to just block a lot out of his hands. Liko's trying to sneak some damage in here in turn number 1. Has 2 cards left to do so, but has no go again. So Liko here, opting whether or not he's going to fire off a reflex, I think. But nope. Arsenal's 1, draws 3, and Liko did get first blood, though. Goes up 20-19. So, sorry for those that just missed out on the prize giveaway. For those that watched the live stream, you would have seen it. Adam really is sad he got 9th place. It was close. I tried. He had some favors in there, and I was pulling for him, but I can only do so much. I can only pull him up so far. But Arthur, I wish we could help you there in last place, but such is life. Anyways, Daniel's turn here. He's the tempo player. Liko's got 1 in arsenal, 4 in hand at the moment. Likely to be a lot less as Daniel considers his actions and wants to start with a Steel Blade Supremacy. Not a bad start. +2 to the Dawn Blade. And on hit, he'll draw a card for the whole turn. Iron Song Determination, +1 and Dominate for the whole turn. Keep that in mind. That's all the cards, though, from Daniel. He doesn't have any resources. Oh, boy. I see a money turn here. If Daniel would have popped his courage here, he gets to keep the stroke in hand. Come in with the Dawn Blade once. I mean, I guess he technically couldn't even pay for it. So never mind. I take that back. The full red hand's a little rough, but still fine. Red Flick Plaque from hand. I got super excited. I saw the combinations. I was like, ooh, he can do this. And then actually he couldn't. So never mind. Bad me. And so Liko just blocked with the mask, which is crucial, and a defense reaction out of hand. So he's going into his turn with 3 cards and 1 in arsenal. So Daniel's actually saying, hey, I don't have to worry about this mask. And yeah, you don't. You got it on your turn 1. Pretty spicy, but still blocks for 2. So not too crazy. So Kadashi for 1. Daniel no blocks. Kadashi for 2. Remember, the mask is not up, so Daniel doesn't have to worry about this one if he doesn't want to. It is, 3 total damage, just like an attack. Courage. Blocks 2. Yeah, got a little overhyped on his last turn on that courage. Courage allows a Dawn Blade to swing in for 1 less resource cost, which effectively makes it free. So Pounding Gale's the next one. A 1 for 5. Liko, we've noticed today, has been trying to sequence these turns, but he's been unable to get all the cards out of his hands a lot of times, which means that he does, I guess, both good and bad for him. Allows him to block more throughout the game. He is running more of a defensive Ira, but sometimes it neuters his damage output. We had seen some nice stringing turns from him, but so far, he has left some resources floating. So Daniel blocks for 6. Now Liko does run sigils, so we could see a sigil fired off here. But nope, Liko just draws 3 and passes the turn. So over into Daniel's, 2 cards in hand. Counter on the Skullcap and counter on the Courage. So Nourishing Emptiness, that's a great 2 cards to have. 6 Dominate coming at Liko. He doesn't have that mask anymore. So without a defense reaction in Arsenal, he will be unable to block this unless he throws his Tunic in front of it. He could throw his Tunic and his gloves for 1 apiece, and then have a 4 on a Seek Blow out of the hands, or a Springboard out of Arsenal. No defense there from Liko. He's going to be taking some damage. Sink Blow for 4. So Liko had a chance here to block all that, but values his Tunic over Daniel's ability to increase his intellect, which I can't blame him. Tunic's pretty valuable. But Nourishing Emptiness, money card there at a Monarch. Talk about a just absolutely just crushing addition out of the latest set. Maybe we'll see the same thing here out of Tails, but from the looks of it, we might not get anything good generic-wise out of Tails. But it is possible. Spoiler season is still ongoing. Yet to go. What's your favorite Tails card so far? Let me know. Let me know in the comments below. That way I can see what you're all hyped about. That shield, that Guardian shield, not too shabby. All this ice stuff, pretty decent. So, Liko, use the energy off the Tunic to come in with the Torrent Tempo. If it hits, he'll has go again. It is for 5. 2 cards left in hand for Liko. Didn't start off with the Kadachis. No blocks here from Daniel. Takes the 5. Liko gets go again. So 18 to 13 is the updated health totals here as Liko decides where to go. It's like 5 a.m. for him, or 4 a.m., one of the two. Actually, excuse me, I should say it correctly. It's 6:30. I know what time it is. It's 6:30 for him. I just took a look at the clock. So he's one tired ninja. Too much sneaking around at night. But alas, he's going to try to come at it. He's going to try to still win the game. He's going to try to make the run today in this event. All he's got to do is win here. Liko, though, doesn't want to do anything. Just wants to draw 2 and pass. So could have came in with the Kadachis. Opted not to. But still got 5 damage. So, hey, not too shabby. I did have to use a Tunic counter. So Liko may just have a hand of defense reactions he doesn't want to get rid of. We'll have to figure out why he made that choice. A lot of cards to pass up on with go again, but hold on a second. Hold on. Before we talk about that, those cards aren't going to be in hand for long. I hope they're defense reactions. At least one in Arsenal. A Dauntless into Sharpened Steel into Iron Song means this is 10 Dominate. Holy smokes, Daniel. Woo! 1 card in hands and 1 floating. Oh my gosh, thanks in part to the Sharpened Steel being free and the Iron Song being free. So Dominate, this is going to be tough for Liko to do. He's definitely taking damage. Dauntless means he's going to have to pay a tax on these defense reactions. So best I can see Liko seeing that is 1 card out of the hand. 1 card out of the arsenal, so for 7 has to pay the tax, so have to put a 2nd card out of hand, and Liko can face the next Dawnblade with 2 more cards. It would still have Dominate though. Tunic to start, plus the gloves, so 2. Double defense reactions could bring this up to 8, or could bring it up to 10 total with another plus 8. Liko taking 8. Falls to 10. That was super spicy. Daniel's trying to make this, finish this up quick, fast, and in a hurry. making effective use of all the cards he kept in his hand. Considering the refraction bolters. Yes, he does. So, gives it go again. Dawnblade would come in for here with 4 dominate if he swings. I didn't ask who did you guys have in this one. Ira v. Dorinthea. I think at this stage your vote's probably Dory. So it has 4 dominate coming in, 1 card still in hand. And there's still attacks on reactions. No, that could tell me if Liko wanted to play around what Daniel might have for reactions in hand, no resources available to pay, could mean that that's a Iron Song response. Hiding away in his hand. Potentially. There's no guarantee. But Liko, though, takes it, falls to 6. He's now under half his opponent's life total. Daniel 13, Liko 6, into Liko's turn. 4 cards in hand, though. Kept 2 from the last round. And 1 in Arsenal. That was also there in the last round. So, this should be pretty spicy. Liko's got a big setup turn in the last one. So, I'm expecting some pretty spicy action here. So, Kadachi for 1. Gustwave was the pitch. So, that means 2's floating. 13 goes to Daniel. Or, excuse me, 12 is what Daniel falls to from 13. Liko, now considering anyone wants to stagger this, should be a pretty big turn, all things considered. That's what it looked like to me. Now, I am a Kano player, and I am used to taking a turn off or 2 to stack up. You don't get many of those, to be fair, in Blitz. Or in Classic Constructed, for those dipping their toes into the Classic Constructed Kano. I'd love to see somebody run a Classic Constructed Ira. Start with 20 health. And win. That'd be spicy. Be all about it. But you just play Katsu instead. Be no reason to play the young hero. Does not have an adult version. So E-Strike for 8. Liko putting 1 card to the bottom. 2 resources floating. Has the Snapdragons to give it go again. So alright. The setup is happening. 1 card in hand. 1 card in Arsenal still to fire off. No going at the moment. It's possible on the Snapdragon. Daniel here considering on his turn. Now, Razor Reflex could still get fired off. Liko could fire off a Razor Reflex Kadachi here to threaten the other 4. I don't think you wouldn't fire off on the E-Strike necessarily. But it would give the E-Strike go again straight up. And Liko would not have to pop his Snapdragons. I'd be a big fan if this is a Razor Reflex here. Oh my. I'm getting excited again, guys. Getting straight hype. So we'll see. That would be a pretty money turn. That would threaten lethal this turn here for Liko. It's also possible that he may just do the E-Strike, pop the Snapdragon, hold the Razor's Reflex, come in with that Kadachi, and attempt to sneak it in there for the kill. Steel Blade Shunt for 4. This meant there was no blocks. Leaking gives it go again. And Daniel takes 4 down to 8. So two health point spread now. 8 to 6. 2 floating here. Oh, flying kick for 7. Woo! Yeah, see, I got hype. And if that's still a Razor's Reflex in hand here from Daniel, or for Liko, this sets us up as next turn. He doesn't have the energy to pay for it, but on this one, but the next one, he could get in there. So nothing on hit effect. So what he sees is what he's got. No other action points after this. And no resources floating. So Daniel has the option to just take all 7 here if he wants. But that would leave him dangerously dead to Kadachis. Daniel has not fired off like a red sharpened steel, or excuse me, steel blade shunt, which is what you would expect or hope for him to have. Daniel's going to block with the braces for 2 at the moment, and then considering blocks for 2, moves to reactions. Liko, no reactions. Not unexpected there. Liko is going to springboard for 4 total. So takes 3. Oh boy. I almost would have liked to have seen that springboard. I almost would have liked Liko to take a couple extra here and put that springboard into Arsenal to keep himself alive on a Liko Kadachi threat and lethal attack. But Daniel still keeps 2 in hand. Thanks to the Steel Blade being in Arsenal. And he pitched 1 from hand and blocks 1 from hand. So, Energy Potions the pitch, Naked Dawn Blade for 4. So, we're in the mind game scenario here. Liko still has a card in Arsenal he hasn't fired off. Calls no blocks, moves to reactions. Daniel's okay with that. No reactions from Daniel. So Liko's going to sink below. He could have just opted no blocks on the reactions and fallen to 2, and that would have ended Daniel's turn. So Iron Song response. Daniel tries to get in for 3, and there was that defense reaction there. So another flick flack. And that's going to cover it over. So 8 over 7. Defense wins. It's like they're playing war. So, into Liko's turn, 3 cards in hand. Gets to start with Kadachi. Now we start to chip away. Well, these decks can get pretty defensive, so I wouldn't be surprised if we do come into a very fatiguing match. But crucially here, the Dawnblade did lose its counter, so we'll only attack for 3. Daniel blocks 1. Now the Skullcat's back active. Liko, considering coming in again with the second Kadachi, maybe has a generic attack action. Kadachi for 2. Ooh. Razor's Reflex. So that wasn't a Razor's Reflex. It was a defense reaction. That's what I was hoping on it was in the Arsenal. Daniel takes 1. Down to 4. It's in very lethal range here for Liko. Soul Beat Strike for 4. Like I said, lethal range. If it hits go again, 1 still floating for Liko. This could be another Razor's Reflex. I'm telling you, I just think the ninja's always got it. You gotta force him to have it sometimes. Don't give him turns to set up. You gotta just fire it away. The longer you give him, the more turns you give him to get it, the more likely they are to actually find it and arsenal it. Keep that in mind. Liko blocks for 6, expects the Razors. Razors would still allow this to hit, but the go again wouldn't get to go anywhere. We'll just push some damage. So Liko arsenals that and draws up. Now, he does play a very defensive Iroh, so that very easily could be another defense reaction. So Daniel's going to pitch a blue, Red Warrior's Valor, plus the Dawnblade, so 6 total. If it hits go again, that should be all the cards out of Daniel's hand. So all Liko needs to do is put 2 cards out here, block it up, and he's good to go. There he goes. Liko blocks 6, so he'll go into his turn, 2 cards in hand, 1 in arsenal, as Daniel will pass the turn. And Ira in combo or in tempo control, not combo, tempo control, has combo cards. Speaking of which, 1 just made his way to the pitch zone. 1 there from the Kadachi, no blocks from Daniel, no reactions. So it doesn't fire off a Razors here. That's smart. If he has it, keep it intact. Kadachi for 2. 1 floating there for Liko. No blocks again. Daniel falls to, well, no reactions, falls to 1. Liko now with the nice attack. Exude. So 1 still floating. Exude Confidence for 4. 1 in hand. Ooh, spicy. So Daniel here is going to have to defend this. He's not going to have any attacks to be able to play defense reactions to it. So no defense reactions are going to be active here unless Daniel has a Nourishing Emptiness in hand. And Liko may be able to pump this up by 2. So Daniel needs to at least put 2 cards from the hand in front of this, if he wants to guarantee himself staying alive. Daniel blocks 6. So Singing Seal Blade's gone. Out for Blood's gone. Those are some money cards. Additionally there, if Razor's Reflex. So Daniel expecting no Razor's Reflex. I'm not surprised after seeing how the Kodachis came in. And we'll move into his turn with 2 cards in his hand. Razor Reflex could got fired off on that. I am talking a lot about Razor's Reflex, but it's a money card here for Ninja and closing out the games. You do have to respect it a lot of times. Daniel here, though, playing it right. Calling it how it is. Liko blocks 3. He does trigger Reprise here. So if this is a singing, we go singing into Iron Song. Route actually could end the game if Liko doesn't have a defense reaction. But he has a Flick Flack. He's always got it. Liko, our defensive man. We'll take 3, and that card graciously put back into hand here from Daniel. Route. It was a good try. I like the attempt, Daniel. It was a good shot. I thought for a second, but Liko's got it. So, Kodachi coming in. Daniel's going to try to weather the storm. Every attack is lethal now. We see the first card. Another Kodachi plus an attack for 5. Excuse me, another Kodachi plus 2 more attacks. With one of them 4 or greater will end the game. Liko's trying to sequence his hand. Makes me believe that's a defense reaction there in Arsenal. He's not even considering it. So wants to Command and Conquer for 7. So that's going to guarantee 3 cards, but Liko's not going to have Go Again anymore. So all the cards out of hand there from Daniel, as long as those are at least blocking for 3. So he blocks 9. Liko draws up, passes to Daniel's turn. Daniel's going to have no cards in hand to work with. He can pop his Courage and come in for 3. Does not decide to do so. So moves it over to Liko's turn. I think Daniel there needs to at least get a card out of Liko's hands. 4 cards with 1 in Arsenal is very scary to try to survive when you're at 1 life. So, but Liko's going to try to close it out right here. Do you think he gets there on this turn? Place your bets. Well, Razor's Reflex means he does. We don't even get to see the rest of the mind games. Oh boy. All right. Well, waited until he found it. He's got it. And that will close it out here in round number 6. Liko on the Ira at 6 a.m. in the morning takes our event today. This event brought to you by us, Uncharted Realms, Out of the Box Gaming's Armory Blitz. 6 rounds of awesome fun action, 18 XP on the line for our players there. Liko took all 18. There's one happy Australian. So that'll do it for us here. Hope you had fun. If you liked what you saw, hit that like and subscribe button. We run 2 events. A week, one on Friday at 2 p.m. or at 5 p.m. and one on Sunday at 2 p.m. So if you like what you saw, hit the like, hit the subscribe, come hang out with us in the Discord, and come play in an event. On behalf of myself, John, and James, we appreciate you guys for playing, for watching, and for coming and having fun, and we'll catch you guys next time.